Hi, this is Swan from Swan Amity Studios. We're going to take a look at marking out a quilt today. This is one that I've already been working on, but I've had some questions about what I mark and how. And so we're just going to answer a couple of questions. And I apologize if the video is just a little shaky. I don't have a steady cam for this one, so we'll do our best. So this is Happy Owlidays. It is my holiday owl project. And I'll make sure that I post a whole video of or photograph of all of the quilt a little later. When I get started with this one, before I baste, I'm going to get out my rulers and I'm going to get out my templates that I want to use to create all of the different shapes and markings on my project. Each one of the blocks is the same size, but they all have very different images in them. And the benefit of creating a quilt design that is going to match in each block is that it begins to unify the design. So my first idea was to create some quilting that was going to unify the project. So we start by marking the circles that are going to be in the same place on each block. And to do that, I line up a ruler on the base. It's going to be 3 inches from the bottom and 3 inches from the top. And because I know the size of the block and the size of my templates, I only need to measure from the bottom. It's going to be 1 inch from each side. You can see already just by putting the stabilizing quilting in, we've shrunk up just about 1/8 of an inch. So now the ruler looks like it's not at 1 inch, it's at 1/8 of an inch, or I'm sorry, 7/8 of an inch, which is fine. And then I lay my ruler templates out in the center. These are the nesting circle templates from Quilter's Rule. They are my favorite ones because they're so easy to work with. So I start by marking the outside edge of the 12-inch circle and then lift it up and remove it. Mark the outside edge of the 11-inch circle all the way around and remove it. And now we have that first outline, that first halo, like we see on this one. And then I'm going to take one extra one away because I'm not going to mark this 10-inch line. I'm going to start at the 9-inch line and mark that one all the way around my owl. I'm going to stop anytime that I run into the edge of an applique so that the marked line will give me that 9-inch circle. And then I'm going to mark that 8-inch circle and be done. You can see that is going to put that little halo effect broken into 3 different shades. If I get kind of close here, you can see I've got a white thread, I've got kind of a salmon pink thread right there and right there. This will be a salmon pink fill, this will be a white fill, and then out here we have a light brown thread, so that exterior line is a light brown. I'm also then going to get out my 2-inch circle templates, and I'm going to at random put a 2-inch circle and a 1-inch circle inside of it around in the empty spaces of the block. You can see the only rule I have is that those circles be in different spaces in each block, so that no 2 blocks is exactly alike. What I'm going to do next then is go ahead and base my project. I'm also probably going to put some marking lines in these areas. You can't see them very well in the video, but if I get close you can kind of see that I have a centering line in my sashing, and every 1 inch I have a little marking line that goes through the sashing vertically so that I can see where I'm going to put quilting later. Now my method then requires that once my quilt is marked and basted, I'm going to be ready to start quilting. But this is the divide and conquer method for me. So the next thing I'm going to do is put all the stabilizing lines in the quilt. No major quilting until we ditch all the applique. So if we look at that from the back, we can see all the applique gets ditched all the way around each different shape in the applique. And then when we come back to the project, applique is ditched in all the blocks. Now we begin to add the stable lines, the foundational lines. Now these foundations are going to stabilize the quilt. Notice there are no pins in this portion of the quilt anymore. I still have a couple of pins you can see in the border, but in the quilt itself, in the major blocks, in the sashing, which has also been ditched, there are no pins. That's because all the stabilizing stitching, all the foundational lines have taken the place of pins. Now we can move comfortably and easily through the entire project. No pins are necessary anymore. There are no places in the quilt that are more than a fist distance apart that don't have quilting in them. So this quilt is stable. It's ready to get fill work, so that now when we begin to look at where we have created our stabilizing lines, now we can go in and begin to create fill work in the center first of each block, and then working outward progressively. But if we do each block center, and then each outer ring, and then each outer section, and then all of our sashing, what do we have to do? Change thread less. We have less work to do changing thread all the time. It makes it more beautiful to have more options of thread available in our project, but without having to constantly change thread. So this is kind of just a basic introduction to how do I line up my marking tools, how do I create basic divisions. Now that I have divided and marked the quilt, stabilized the project, I am ready to go ahead and start doing all of that beautiful fill work. We'll take a look again at this quilt a little further along when we've added some more fill work, so stay tuned for video 2 on Happy Owlidays, marking, dividing, conquering. That's our goal for today. Thank you for visiting me at Swan Amity Studios. Make sure that if you like our videos, you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And have a fabulous quilty day.